Please fill the seats. Come.
Ooh, the seats.
Come, friend. Somebody you want to come? Come. No gap seats, please.
No
come.
gaps, eh?
No gaps.
Okay.
Very good afternoon, friends. Thanks a lot for being here on time. We have traveled a lot. We came from a different locations. Thank you very much for being here on time today. We hope your previous workshop was really helpful and you studied more about the loan product design. And after 2-3 weeks, now we are here gathering again for studying on a big important subject, correct? So before going to the topic, I think I will introduce our team members. We have an expert in marketing, Mr. Osvaldo
Mendoza, nice to meet you all.
Yarina,
Satya,
and myself, Jose. So let us talk about marketing. Some of you can tell us what is marketing very quickly. Actually, it's something you just turn your tables, the writing pads, something is written below you. And you want to come here, please? Just here. Here. The first one is the act of. Somebody wanted to continue? Selling.
Product.
And services. Act of. He was supposed to start with the act of selling products and services. Very simple.
Right.
Correct? Here we are today going to talk about that very clearly. I think my colleague Osvaldo will talk about the marketing strategy. We have 1 hour available. We will stick on to activity-based learning, and followed by that, Tia will discuss about WSS, water and sanitation target groups and key messages. So please let us be very active. Let us be very interactive throughout this session. Any questions, you please ask during this session. And I think I call my colleague Satya to talk about the rules of the game. Please.
Yes, good afternoon. Before diving to set the rule for the training, so I just go back to you guys. Should we need to rest up the new rule, or we can use the existing rule? If anyone can add or can change, feel free. So just asking again. So should we do a new rule or we use this existing rule? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes. So we use this rule?
Yeah, we're good with
Yeah,
this rule.
So you need anything change in this rule or add?
No, it's good.
You are fine, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though we have just launched, nobody wants to say he's not
Yeah.
allowed to sleep or take a nap.
Yes. So if you agree, so just remind you that no phone. If you have any agent, you can go outside and then call, and then avoid to chit chat. Yep. And stand or sit. Maybe you can move around so to avoid that the trending like it is not work smoothly because you go change the seat. So raise your hand if you have any question. So yeah, everybody can have go first. We can answer first.
Thank you.
So we're gonna make an activity. So we have to talk about the importance of marketing strategies. And I leave it to here to my friend Janina to do this activity.
Yeah, so for this activity, have 10 minutes. First, my colleague, Osvaldo, have cards. You need to review these cards and have 1 minute for think these topics. And then you need to share it with all about that.
So the idea also is for you to, these are key elements of a marketing strategy. If you don't know the answer to one of these, it's important to think what you think it might mean. And if you already know the answer, it's just trying to communicate the answer to somebody else.
So what exactly do we have to do?
So you have to review it for 1 minute.
Okay.
If you already know the answer, please have them stand up. So the idea is for you guys to stand up.
Stand up and then we make an activity.
What is the activity? Please stand up. Please. Choose a partner. Any partner that you want.
You need the same card.
Oh, we need same card. Activity.
Sorry, so you have to find.
Activity.
1 second, please. Everybody else. So, has anybody found their partner?
You need to.
Choose.
Yeah, randomly please come.
And my group.
Sadly. So what was the word that you had?
The timeline.
Timeline.
Yeah, we were.
What is the timeline?
When we were discussing with the PR, we are talking about the timeline implies a whole activities during inside of a plan. What else?
Yeah. We talking about the timeline and the deadline. And
Yeah.
the timeline is the duration of the program start and the program, and we consider the duration of
Start where we end.
yeah,
So the length of time that something
yeah,
takes.
the length, yeah.
So is it important for marketing strategy? Is it part of a marketing strategy or not? Yes.
Of course.
Where would you put it in these categories? The who, the what, or the instrument?
Of implementing the marketing plan.
Very good. That's the method to implement a
The
marketing plan.
marketing plan, yes.
Is it part of a marketing strategy or is it a different thing?
Actually, plan, strategies are part of plan.
Strategies are part of the plan.
Very good. Where would you put it in that category?
Instrument.
Instrument. So it's marketing plan.
Marketing plan.
Does anybody have a question on these 2 elements that we just discussed? Or are we all clear on the meaning of these ones and the allocation in these sections? Nobody? So everybody's clear. Very good. Whom else?
Yes, marketing objective, basically, we're looking at,
Marketing objective?
yeah,
Okay.
the how we would tailor our, promotion to the target group that is of interest. For instance, the client group would be people who need toilets or water connections or things like that.
Okay.
So how do we ensure that this target group gets these products?
That's a marketing objective. Very
Yes.
good.
And also how the key point is what are the social and economic dimension or balances that we are going to work towards ensuring that this toilet reaches or water access reaches the target group.
Very good. So you mentioned target group a lot. That's interesting. Is that part of a marketing strategy?
Yes, another thing we discussed is that the objective is what the financial institution wants to get out of the marketing. So they want to sell X number of loans to an appropriate target audience, they want to increase their image in their country, they want to have a social benefit, so the
So
goals.
those are the goals,
Yeah.
basically. So are those part of the marketing strategy? Yes or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. And where would you put those?
Both, I think.
What?
Client.
What?
Who?
The what? What? Under the what?
Yeah.
Objectives. But you also mentioned target groups.
Yes,
So that's the whom.
The whom,
Yeah.
yeah.
The who. Marketing. And one last one, please.
Can we tell?
Yes, you can.
Okay, it is like activities.
Activities.
So for activities are the things which you need to do, to realize your product, to sell your product, to achieve your marketing strategy, implement it. So first it is coming as who. Like marketing strategy, when we are told to impersonate the CEOs or the senior people, so our probably the first target group would be the microfinance institute, what do you call it, the clients themselves.
Of the microfinance institutions.
Microfinance institution, by targeting them, we can develop our strategies, activities.
Okay.
So first I will come to who, it is the client for us.
Activities.
Second, it will come what kind of things we want to.
So you put it in both.
Yeah.
Three of it. It will come into different segment. So then we want to, that what do we want to tell them? We need to bring the congruence between the demand and supply. So we need to communicate that message to them. So development of message, like creation of the content, then the materials, communication materials, then your this demonstration, what will we be demonstrating? So all these things will come what?
Very good.
Thank you.
That's important, and I think we can further explain that. So, in the importance of time, we cannot go through everybody,
Right.
but let's assume that we did, and we have all of these elements that conform a marketing strategy. The most important ones, even though you said more, which are here, are all of them are important, but there are ones that are key elements of a marketing strategy. First one is the target group, so the whom. You mentioned here target group, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The target group. Then we have the message that you said. Message. What we want to convey to the market, to that target market. And finally, the instruments that we have to use. So all of these are instruments. These are the key elements of a marketing strategy, even though all of these are important. So now let me explain something. When you have a marketing strategy, most businesses communicate. This is the whom or the why. This is the what, and this is the how. If you see, I just replaced the who, which is the target group, for the why. The how is what we want to convey, the what is what we want to convey to them, and this is how we're gonna do it with the instruments, right? Many institutions think this way. They think first the what, then the how, and then finally the why or the whom. But it is important for institutions that are successful to think the other way around. So you have to think from the middle all the way to the how, right? So it's important first to identify why are we doing what we are doing, and why these people that we are trying to serve will be interested in our product. Then how we're gonna get to that audience, and finally the what, because many institutions know this, the what, and this is what the competition is gonna be doing also eventually. But if we know why we do what we do, people is gonna try to buy our product because of decision. Yes?
Where would you place product?
Where would you place the product? Here.
So if you don't have a product, how can you think about who and why and how?
because you need to know what the needs is
Yeah.
of this person.
So firstly, we should have something to offer, then only we'll go for.
I
if
think
we have-
it is other way around probably.
Yes.
How about the promotion?
It's assessment.
No, but we
assessment.
should have something to offer them.
Mhm.
Or maybe we should have maybe an idea of a product, then only we can go on and explore where to go and who can be our target clients.
Of course, however, we are all here from a financial institution and we know that we sell products, loans. So this is a new type of loan. It's not something different. We're not making any new product.
But
So
that
it's just
can
a
be
loan
any
with a
kind of
different
loan.
name. Huh?
But that can be any kind of loan.
Of course, why is it important to be a water and sanitation loan? Because we are serving the market and a need that they have.
But because we know we have wash loan, then only we are going to who and why, right?
Yes, but this is a paradigm shift actually. So most institutions start thinking about the what they do, how they do it, and to whom or why they do it. But the most successful ones think the other way around. Why we do what we do, or to whom are we serving, how we do that, and then what. In the end, you have to think about the three, but you have to prioritize one of those. Yes.
I think the TNA plays a crucial role in this part, right?
Okay, so if everybody is clear, I'm just gonna leave here. There is a good presentation from somebody, Simon, in TED Talks.
Okay.
Look for this presentation; it's very interesting.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm gonna move forward to my friends here.
Shall we go and sit or we will be
Firstly, a marketing strategy is composed of three main components. One is, of course, the target group, which is what Oswaldo mentioned in this model, that we should, most organizations fail to prioritize, but maybe we can consider thinking about our target groups first before we think about the how and the what. So the second is, of course, we need to have a value proposition, what we can offer these target groups, and of course we have the instruments by which we can convey those value propositions to our target audience or target clients. So we're now here in our agenda. We go to the first component of the marketing strategy, which is defining. So we need to define our target groups. For water supply and sanitation products. So when we say water supply and sanitation, who do you think would most benefit from these facilities? What group comes to mind, to your mind first? Yes, go ahead.
Households.
Households. Aside from households, can you think of other potential groups or customer segments?
Yeah, it's the women.
The women? Mostly women. Okay. Go ahead.
CBO in Indonesia.
CBOs. Can you explain a bit what CBOs are for the sake of
CBO is a community-based organization that they operate the water supply for the household.
Can you give us an example?
so these are
In Indonesia, belongs to government that create the infrastructure for the first development. They operated with three operators, consists of the head of CBO, secretary, and the treasury.
Is everybody clear on that? CBOs?
So Indra said CBOs are mainly water supply
Yeah.
providers,
Yeah.
but in the rural areas.
In the
So they
rural.
are like small operators. Okay.
One quick example, in India we have village water and sanitation committees. They have elected representatives from local governments, SHG members, who mean local leaders, village leaders, so they have a small committee, it is recognized group. So they are generally called CBOs, community-based organizations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Everybody needs water supply and sanitation. So anybody can ask for the loans, right? So everybody needs it, so target group can be anyone.
Okay, so we're looking at different levels where we can segment the market. So for example, the households would mean those the men and women borrowers that we have, or the families. So in the mention, there's another type of SME, or a water district provider. So maybe you can think of other parties who would be needing financing for water supply and sanitation. Go ahead, Jessica.
Enterprises that are involved in water and sanitation,
Okay, can you give an example?
like a business that cleans pits.
The sludgy companies?
Yes.
The sludge.
Are there any other parties involved in the production and distribution of wash facilities?
Yeah, the masons are there.
The masons. So aside from masons, can you think of others? Other parties?
Suppliers.
We also have those who do the rigs for
The drillers?
Yeah.
Drillers. Any other?
I think in the context of Uganda, we have public institutions like schools and religious institutions.
Schools?
Religious churches, mosques, temples.
Churches.
Church.
You don't know.
Mosques, of course.
Mosques, temples.
Temples.
Public toilet operators.
Public.
Public toilet operators.
I know there are some entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs,
Some entrepreneurs.
entrepreneurs who are selling, installing water ATMs, you know. They purify water and people go and buy water.
Plumbing
You know,
materials.
It's water ATMs, it's an enterprise, a small,
Water ATM.
yeah, water ATMs. Anytime.
ATM, like, okay. Or kiosk.
Kiosk,
Or-
yes.
Kiosks.
And then maybe this, the parties involved in the supply chain for WSS, we can call them as Paul suggested, MSMEs. You agree?
Yeah.
And then for the schools and religious institutions, we can call them social institutions. Is that okay?
Even though the schools, some of the schools make profits, so they cannot be categorized as businesses.
As a business, okay. So social or,
You can call it institution.
or just institutions, okay? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Non-profit, like profit-oriented institutions.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You said households, like poor
At the
or,
household level.
yeah, so poor or in the rural area.
Yeah.
So what do you exactly mean by poor here? Or what level of poor, or maybe the household income, or what?
Okay.
How do you set the?
So now we go into an activity
Yeah.
where we will
Answer that
we
first.
will analyze further the different target groups. We'll find out more about who they are and what their needs are. So if you look at the cards you have underneath, or you've already taken out of your writing pads, you'll see a group number there. And then I'd like to present to you, can you move this? So we will be using this matrix to analyze each of the three main groups. So all of you would get a number. We'll all be divided into three groups. So these are the questions actually. So for example, if you're in the group for households, I'll just go through the matrix. Who forms part of this target group? So you can define, for example, those are maybe the tribal groups in the mountainous areas or in the hillside who have low access. And then you can go on and analyze further by gender, or maybe by income, or by business activity if you like. And then where are they located? So you can also specify. And then the next are, what are the WSS activities that they conduct for which they need support? For example, this group needs, they don't have sanitation self-contained facilities in their homes. So you can post that as a that they are in need of toilets, or they are in need of water supply. What are the challenges? These people don't have enough money on hand to build their own. So you can put your maybe access to loans or financing. Is that here? And then here, what are their opinions about WSS products and lending? So is this, for example, for tribal groups, are they interested in building their own toilet? Or are there some cultural barriers that we need to overcome? Something like that. Is that okay? Okay, so...
So the idea basically is to sub-segment those three groups
Yeah.
that we defined and see which ones are more prioritized or prioritizable by our institution.
Okay, so we have three matrix already posted on the walls. So this would be the first group. Can you, all the ones, can you huddle together in this area? And then you'll be handling the households. And then for this group, all the twos, you'll handle all the SMEs. And this is your matrix. Then for this, insurance, so this one is yeah, you can use this one. So for this activity, sorry.
Hi everybody.
Hi everyone. For this activity, we will give you 10 minutes to complete the matrix.
So if we present them a product for water and sanitation, what is going to be the opinion of a business that rent houses about a product like this? Will they be interested or not interested? Will they like it or not like it? When you propose, of course they are interested. So based on the challenges that they face, the activities that they conduct, they would be interested. So they would be willing to get one of these loans.
Yes, I think so, because it will be increasing their business.
Okay, so just put
Interested?
just mark, but still a good mark. There you go.
Okay.
Everywhere, both the people work, both at places, 5 places.
Yeah. So make it here.
So it's okay
Depending
as
on the
it is.
location.
Yeah, but that can be explained.
Different region, different
Yeah, that can be explained.
So if there is water,
Okay.
You eventually.
Thank you very much.
Poor people, they are getting government water, and that is water is
I
I think that's true in some areas, but some places there's only one
the inventory is the
school.
water.
Phones, personal.
She's one, that's what she said.
But they're interested in investing.
I think she wants us to see they like financing.
We have financing, yes, that's all, exactly, that's all it is.
So water probably is there.
Yeah, you're so funny. You're a little chattel.
Okay, what other things about water sanitation products and lending?
So they should be interested because with all of that, if they have
No, I
water
don't want to
sanitation
take
products.
off a loan for water, I'll be in debt forever.
But all of these people can attract more people, more students, more kids, more attendance to the church. If they have a
For group one, for the households, we have time.
So we are dealing with the households. Who forms the part of the target group? Women or men? Because we can lend loan to an adult woman or an adult woman having low income. Now here I want to ask you what low income is, because you were explaining low incomes. So we have written low incomes, but what is the benchmark for low income?
I think it will depend on the country or what poverty group the financial institution is targeting.
So suppose I am earning maybe $50 a day. I need water and sanitation facilities very badly. I am very enthusiastic about the loan. But you being a loan officer, coming to my place, evaluating my credit worthiness, or maybe my standards, or my house, or my earning or living, then you think I won't be able to repay the same. What will you do?
I think for me, I think it would depend on the institution also, if they can design the product that would best fit the cash flow of that particular guy.
Because everybody is saying lend it to the poor people. Lend it to a person, suppose in India, somebody who's earning not more than a lakh, maybe annually, fair enough. So if somebody is not earning a lakh rupee per annum, they are struggling to feed the family. How will they repay? And they want the facilities very badly. So how are you going to deal with this?
Basically, now we are representing financial institutions. From my shoe, from a financial institution, so being a microfinance institution, I am very particular about my capital. I should be very careful about getting back my money.
Yeah.
So, first thing I do is when somebody asks me a loan, I take 30 more seconds. I will do a cash flow analysis. You are right. Are we serving the very bottom of the pyramid? No. Under this thing, under this model, microfinance, no. That's extremely different model. It is CSR approach, or it's a charity approach, direct program, direct implementation. So let us talk about the microfinance related activities. So I think respect to your question, but with that, I think our market is that cream, not the ultra poor, but just above the ultra poor, but still they are poor.
However,
Can everyone see the matrix, or do you want to move closer?
I can't see from here.
You can see?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so where are they located? They're located in the rural areas, semi-urban areas, or maybe, slums, right? And, okay, fine. What are are we done here to this?
Yes.
I say rural and semi-urban. Alright. What are the main WSS activities they conduct for which they need support? So, sanitation, household water consumption, business, like we visited somebody on the field and he had a water tank and he was selling a water. So maybe small business, maybe for agricultural activities.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
About the group, is there anything you think?
No, let's go.
Okay. So what challenges do they face when it comes to WSS? No access to funds, wastage of time, safety issues, health issues, and high interest rates. These are the challenges people face while availing WSS loans. Alright. So what are the opinions about WSS products and lending, if they are interested or not interested? So for a few people, this might not be a priority, having sanitation facility or water connection at home. That depends upon the geography to geography and people to people. Then maybe the high cost of the loans. Then is, also financial institutes do not have products for them. And distance from the FI branch. They have to travel a long distance for the disbursements, or maybe the repayments, or maybe to avail the loan, or for many other things.
How about for the other groups? Do you have any feedback to the group? Anything?
Target group for SME, we are landlords, houses. These are located in both rural and urban environments, and as well as peri-urban. What are the main activities they conduct? There's a long debate around this, but we came up with a few, like septic tank restoration, water storage facilities, plumbing, improved bathrooms, and toilet renovations. And then the question on challenges, they lack enough money to do it, so we can provide funding. There's lack information. And what was the opinion of whether they were interested? We said yes, to be interested. Then we had a second category of water enterprises. And in this category, we had water kiosks and water bowl drillers. These are also located in both urban and rural areas. Yeah, they need our support in terms of, sorry?
What are the main ways?
Financial support to buy inventory, like with water kiosk, they need money to buy the storage facility, the pipes that they connect to the households. They need money to working capital, as well as the cleaners. They need money to buy the equipment, the drilling machines, and generally the infrastructure around the facility. In terms of challenges they face, we say the main challenge is the high capital investment required. Like to buy a rig, you require out of funding, so they may not have that kind of money. So that I think is a challenge. The startup costs for the drillers as well as the kiosk operators. I think they're interested basically in the product. Thank you. We think so as a group.
Okay, let's give a hand to group 2. Then we move to the last group, group 3 for the institutions. Laura, the report.
Okay. So we just went through, for example, schools. That's such an institution that was agreed upon. And they exist pretty much everywhere, rural and urban. And now we interpreted the questions slightly differently. And we thought about for example, what are some of the things that they do with the water, or they would use the water for. And one is, they could have flush toilets, or they could have hand washing, they could clean the school, have water for drinking and cooking, the meals, sometimes for kids, for students. And then we also interpreted the challenges they face. We thought of this as the challenges that, due to the current circumstances, is that we're using dirty water, children have to spend time during the day going out and collecting water to bring back for cooking the meals. Sometimes there's absences, especially of the young girls when we don't have the services to provide them at the school. And then we understood there was this to do with access, so we said some of the problems is that the main line is really far away, or the only source of water is at quite a distance, or the supply is intermittent, so we only have it once a week. Would there be opinions, or our opinions about WSS products? We'd be interested because if we'd like to have the services, then we could expand our services, maybe attract more students if we were in schools. All right.
For the other groups, do you have any comments, feedback?
Stop.
Okay. Thank you.
Stop.
All right, very good. Feedback for group number 3. Now, who had process? Okay, let's hear something that was good.
Yeah, the transitions of each section was very good, very clear, very smooth.
Okay, what else? What else was positive in terms of the process? Do you have anything else?
When they are explaining about the how do I say, the content, the process are very clear when they are explaining. It's very yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what else on process that worked well? Who had the other process card? Yes? Rita?
On process, what I can say is the flow was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did the introduction was done well. The rules were set.
Mm-hmm.
The agenda was given to us.
Mm-hmm.
So that first process was well done. However, however, when they gave us the first assignment, I think it was Josh who gave us the assignment, he turned out to be also a participant. So I don't know how that was possible.
Okay. There was some confusion there. What else about process that could be improved or that did not work well? Yes? Any improvements in terms of process?
I think having learned from the morning groups, they improved on our mistakes.
Uh-huh.
I think we are good learners, I think.
Okay. Anything else on content? Anything else on content? No? Yes?
I think the link between the first and second group works are quite good.
Mm-hmm.
They have exhaustively identified those layers, which they later on put into these various groups, which I found to be quite fantastic.
Okay, very good.
I was wondering that the exchange between the facilitator and the participant regarding where do we start from in terms of the marketing would have been well handled in terms of probably asking the group to also share their perspectives on how they think that should have been like. But it was like just between the facilitator and then the participants, which for me should have been more thrown over to others to share their thoughts.
Okay, so there could have been a bit more brainstorming and thought sharing, okay? Brainstorming and thought sharing. Okay, excellent. Now, trainers. Who had the trainer cards? Who had trainer cards? Let's hear it.
I think that the trainers are confident and now what to deliver with the materials. So they are also having a good material handling.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they are citing the sources of whenever they are taking sources from another people.
They told us who they are, and I saw some good division of work among themselves. They know who is doing what and when. Otherwise, I think the ground rules seem to be quite preset, and they haven't asked us to just have our own rules. They just come up with some safety ground rules, and they just read those rules for us.
And did they follow through on those rules, Teddy?
No.
No.
Again, when it comes to managing the group works and the group representatives, I think sometimes they just step back and give more room to the presenter. And at some point, Group 1 was asking them to confirm every bit of what they have presented, and were saying kind of yes or no. Instead, they could have thrown back the questions to the audience and asked for more feedbacks, which we have said adult learning.
Yes, more questions and less answers, huh? Okay, Joes, what did Joes do well? What did Joes do well?
Very engaging.
Okay, very engaging. What else?
He was confident also. What exactly is he doing?
Okay, confident. What else? Smiley? Yeah, he was very happy.
Body language.
Okay, lack of movement.
Yeah, lack of movement, the kind of positive, right? The trainer should also induce the, what do you call, positive vibe in this one. I mean, she was very good. That's what I told that. She was too sweet to be a trainer.
I think that's supposed to be a compliment. Yeah. Okay, let's just take it as that. Anything else on points for improvement? What happened between Thea and Chaya?
Tension.
There was tension.
Yeah.
Who was Chaya? She was a participant. What kind of a participant was Chaya?
She's very crazy.
She was annoying, wasn't she? Chaya was annoying. Why? Why was Chaya annoying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Chaya always disagreed. She was very, very critical. Okay? So, what happened between those two initially?
Confrontation.
There was tension.
There was tension, but then how did Thea react?
Chaya took power with words. Chaya took control at points.
Yeah, Chaya took control at points, okay? So sometimes Thea lost control to Chaya in the process. So managing the difficult participant was challenging. However, in the end, Thea did gain control, right?
Yes.
But temporarily, I don't know if you saw that moment, Chaya was unhappy with something there. The low income, exactly. She wasn't clear on the low income. And then Thea immediately felt the need to reply to Chaya, and that's kind of what led to Chaya then taking over temporarily. What could Thea have done better when Chaya was having her little moment?
Thea could have thrown the matter to the house.
Thank you. Yes, instead of trying to answer directly, she could have just thrown it back at the group, okay? Now, let's get back to Satya.
Can I ask one other question about that?
Please.
But now it's going a little bit off topic. So in that case, do you throw it back to the group or do you try to bring it back on the topic? How far off do you go?
What do you think?
I think the issue of the definition of low-income communities.
Mm-hmm.
So, who are they? I mean, that would, if I could understand such a circumstance. So, if the definition is what in the issue of contention, it should be shared and figure out what other participants think, what are their thoughts, and who are low-income consumers or communities, and what are their thoughts, so that it makes it much more easier for the one-to-one interaction. Share.
Yeah, so you would throw it out to the group to avoid that tension or that potential conflict, but then you pull it back to tie it up and to not waste too much time. So maybe you ask one or two people and then you give a definition.
My name is Mary.
My name is Carla.
Rita here.
Alvira.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. How are we feeling?
Great.
Great. Okay, we're all on the same page. Great. All right, so far, everyone, so far we've already gone through marketing, developing our marketing strategy. We've already discussed our target groups. So now we're going to go into what kind of key messages and how do we develop the key messages for these target groups. How are we going to transmit this information? And we're going to talk a little bit about a marketing plan. How does that, is this something that resonates with everyone? How do you feel about this?
That's fine, nice.
That's cool.
Okay, great. So by the end of the day, we'll have gone some key messages, we'll have some ideas about how to disseminate, and we'll have structures in place for a plan.
And why is this important to us?
How would you like to ensure that people know about the product? Is that something that is critical to selling the product?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay, does anyone else have an idea about why it would be helpful to have key messages, some instruments, and a marketing plan?
Yeah, of course. Like you have to deal with different stakeholders for selling your things. So in that case, messages should be very specific to that target group. Then you can sell it well.
Great, I'm glad you talked about that because that's the next step we're going to get into.
Thank you, Laura.
Just walk through what we'll be going through, and we found that it's important for us in terms of how to be able to reach our target market. And we'll be looking at how do we develop content for the key messages. Because we want to reach to our target groups. We have already developed and we know who our target groups are. But the question is, how do we develop key messages to target them? But maybe just to pause a bit and what in your understanding is a key message? There.
It's like the main benefit or main use of what you are offering is like the value proposition.
Benefit, value, proposition. Anthony, in your understanding, what is a key message?
I think to me it's more the experience. I don't know that I'm dramatic, but what do I take away from it at the end of the day? What do I, the main way, my takeaway?
your takeaway.
Yeah.
Now, in connection to what we want to communicate to our customers, to the target group that we are targeting, what is the key message? Thank you, Anthony, the takeaway. Teddy, what is your understanding of a key message?
It is the main thing that we want to pass to our target groups, what we want to let them know.
Good. What is it that we want our target group to know? And when you think about that key message, what would be critical to be part of that key message? What is it that you would want to see in a key message? I can already see somebody smiling. You have a message. I
can already don't think of any message.
What would you want to see? What would you want to see in a key message?
How well targeted that message is to the audience, because we have different audiences. So, which if we're talking about maybe targets for WASH lending, how do we ensure that the message that we are going to develop really, makes sense to them to be able to be responsive, sort of.
Okay, two more people, child. You hand us up.
Yeah. So suppose for WASH, and if you're targeting rural people where they do not know much about the finance and banks, so the key message can be, now these loans are available, WASH loans are available. Where can you approach? These can be a few key messages.
Okay. So the availability of the loans. Jessica?
Oh, I was going to say benefits, but we can say benefits. The benefits of the offering.
Yeah, we are asking ourselves, when we think, because we are soon going to design a key message, what is it that you would want to see in the key message?
Something
Yes,
that's
sir.
really catchy. Okay. A good phrase, something that causes the attention of the end user.
Catchy?
Phrase.
Flavia?
The key message should bring out clearly the issues of procedure. Apart from being catchy, I should know. So what are the next steps? Where do I go?
Thank you. The last one, please.
Words that can change the mind of the client.
What can change the mind of the client? Thank you. I can see you've talked about value proposition. What is it that you're proposing to the customer? You're talking about what catches the mind of a customer and what is it that they will remember. We have also talked about what is critical. Someone has talked about the process. What are the key things that the target group would be looking for? So thank you very much. Now, I would want us to do an exercise in the same groups that we had previously. We already have the target groups. We have the household. Which group was having the household? Yeah, we have the MSMEs. So this becomes the group number 2. Group number 3, handling the institutions. And now what we are going to do, we have a matrix here. And we are going to discuss alongside your target group. For each target group, tell us what product. Let's have one product. Discuss one product that you think your target group would be interested in. Just give the advantages of the product and what you think would be the disadvantages of that product, and what information you think your target group would need to have, or the information that you would want to share with your target group.
Question.
Yes, please.
Does it have to be related to water and sanitation, or can it be for any?
It is related, sorry, thank you, and thank you about that. This is purely for water and sanitation. And the groups that we develop, or the targets are the targets for water and sanitation, as we discussed earlier this morning.
So this will be purely for water and sanitation.
So,
No, we've got it. We've named it as
So actually, I'll tell you 1 minute, just for our economic perspective, we are actually business owners. But my advantage is like maximizing my profit. Correct? Household. Yeah.
It's a private school. Why don't we write the this can serve so many?
You can quickly just come and take us through.
Okay, good. So for household, the product which we are designing is the loans for renovation of defunctional toilets, and the advantage would be people may not think of. Okay, sorry. Okay. Advantage would be there are many people who already have the toilets in their houses, but because of maybe the technology fault, or maybe the pit is full, or maybe the material used earlier was not good, they're not using the toilets and going for open defecation. They can now use toilets if they have such a product, loan product. They can go for renovation, and disadvantage would be maybe people may not think of building a new toilet even if the number of members increases in their family. They will just think, okay, fine, we should maybe build another pit here, and because they are getting renovation loans. And information, yeah. So the information they would like to get before getting into such a loan, maybe the cost of loan and the institution that they can approach, and maybe the advantages of having loan. We just actually have to tell them, okay, fine, these are the advantages. You'll save time, you'll save money, you'll save place, and so on and so forth.
Group number 2.
Okay.
Take us through briefly your product.
Thank you. Actually, the second group, we being the financial institutions, we are designing a product for this segment, MSME segments. So the product is, we came out based on our previous session, sanitation business loan, correct? Then what are the advantages of these products? Point number 1, it is helping us in reaching more families with more healthy products. And as a financial institution, I am selling less number, but the business volume is high, correct? I am managing high portfolio. Example, I am dealing with 13K USD, size of loan, even though the number of such borrowers are less. So I think business-wise, operational-wise, that's positive point. That's an advantage. The disadvantages is just opposite to this. There are not many buyers, not many MSMEs available on water and sanitation business, right? So it's not easy to scale this business, this particular vertical, being an MFI. This is a disadvantage. So what information does my target group, that is my MSMEs need? Being an MFI, they will expect from me what is the business case, correct? Business case. So profitability of this business. When I offer a loan for water and sanitation to a new entrepreneur, he or she should be convinced that this is very profitable business for her or him. So that I think she would be interested. And more clients. This is more of a marketing support, correct? So I am introducing a new product to the market. Being an MSME, I will be interested in getting a marketing support from the MFI, how to market the product, new product. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question or clarification?
I'm just wondering how an MSME can seek for support from the financial institution to be able to market that product. Just wondering. You've gotten a loan from a financial institution to do something, you want the financial institution to support you to market the product. I'm not sure if I understand.
This part?
Yeah, I mean, the other part is
More, marketing support.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. So imagine this is an emerging market. MSME in this sector, water and sanitation financing, is an emerging market. There are not many evidence already we have created, no evidence available. So what they need, being a new MSME, they may need some, targeted messaging, correct? Who are their clients? So being a financier, I need to support them, guide them to identify their potential market and how to reach their market with right messaging. So that's part of our marketing support to them.
Oh, okay.
Correct?
It's very important, the column that we've discussed on the information that we want our target groups to get. What is it that we want them to hear? And this is what will be critical in helping us to develop the key message, because this remains the target group. So we will again go into our groups, and this time round we will only have one discussion point, and we are thinking about now the actual key message. We now have the target groups, we know the product, we know what are the advantages of that particular product, we know the disadvantages. And of course we are thinking about marketing. And we also know the information that we would want our target group to have. So what we are going to do is that we will sit back in our groups, and now we will think about the actual key messages that we want to pass to this group. So we have one product, we develop 3 key messages. What would be some of the guidelines? Think about, we have the target group, yes? We have the target group, isn't it? Yeah. So this is already a guideline. Let's also think about, in terms of the business aids, what is your marketing objective? What do you want to achieve at the end of this? Is it that you want to increase sales? Is it that you want to get new clients? Is it that you want to deepen the relationship that you already have with your clientele by offering an alternative product? What is it that you want to achieve? What is your marketing objective of this particular product? So we have some guidelines just to guide you through as you go through these deliberations. And then think about the unique selling point of your product. What makes it different? Because we have other financial institutions that will develop or have such a product. So what makes your product different? So bring it out, the unique selling point of your product, and any other details that you may want to add so that you're able to pass the message to your target group, right? Is it clear?
Very clear.
Good. We go back to our groups. This time round, we'll take a shorter time.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah, we'll do 5 minutes. Remember, we are developing 3 key messages. It should be short, it should be clear, it should leave a lasting impression in the mind of the target group. It's something that they should keep on remembering. So short, clear, simple, precise.
If you want to know a good home or a good homestead, look at the toilet facility in that homestead.
Right.
And why we're doing this is because culturally, if you get married and your mom-in-law comes to your home and you don't have a good toilet, that becomes an issue for you.
Serious issue.
Okay, the credibility goes where?
Yeah.
So this is a catchy word saying good homestead must have a good toilet.
Yeah.
As a selling point. Very easy for them to
Did you say,
okay.
Anthony, did you say the mother? If your mother comes to your house?
Mother-in-law. You have a toilet.
It's the same in Mexico.
What do you do? Yeah. The second one is targeted to the SME itself. So we are telling the SME to give this message to their customers. Improve sanitation attracts more customers. If you want, contact PM Joe's.
Yes.
Any questions? No?
Group institutions, you want to?
Which group is institutional?
Okay.
This for you.
So we did institutions. We named our product Agua Vive Mejor. We wanted our product name to be in there so that people are immediately starting to get it in their head and remember it. Our Agua Vive Mejor loan allows your students to learn in a comfortable, safe, and secure environment. So we focused on the benefits, and then our subsequent messages would go into the terms and how they can get the loan.
Any questions? No? Yeah.
You close.
Are you part of that group?
Please.
Thank you, everyone. You can take our seats.
Time up. We have to go back to the seat, or you want to use that?
No, you can sit anywhere because it works. That was such a wonderful exercise for us. I would think so, and we are picking something out of this. And now, Nyumba Bicho, okay, this has been very interesting. And now that we have our target groups, who are our target groups?
Household.
The second one?
MSMEs.
And the last one? Yeah, we already have our target groups with us, and we have our key messages that we have developed for each target group that we have already with us here. Now, in your institution, you have everything. You have the target group. You have the messages that you want to send out to the target group. So, what next?
Budget.
You need to budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true, you may need to budget. But one thing, remember, is you have the message with you, and you have the target group. And you want the target group to know about the message that you have with you. So, what do? What next?
Choice of channel.
Choice of channel, that's good. You need to communicate the message to the target group. Another thing, what else?
How? The way to
How do you do it? Yes.
The way to communicate.
The way to communicate the message? Yes, that's right.
When?
The way?
When
do you communicate the message?
And where?
And where? And how? And what do you use? That is very important. So next on, we are going to identify the instruments. The instruments we shall use to disseminate the message to our target groups or target clients in that case, which is our next instruments for effective dissemination of the messages. And as financial institutions, we have developed products, we have had instruments in our own institutions. So I'm going to hear from you. Which kind of instruments are those that you use to send out your messages? Starting with you, my dear. Which instrument do you use to have clients come for your products in your institutions? How do you send out the message?
For example, using a flyer.
You use a flyer?
Brochures?
You can put them down. We use, he said flyers. What else do we use?
Posters.
No, let's have one person. Our rules still stand. If we are to speak, you put up your hand, and so that we don't.
Please follow.
Posters.
You need posters. Please clarify more posters.
So like, if we put that pictorial with this message, we can develop a poster on that one, and we can stick it to the important points of the village and the other areas.
Yeah, points
so
of
people
sale.
can, yes, people can see it, and they can get, they
Get
can come
to
back
know-
to us.
Yeah,
yes.
get to know the information and come to the institution. Yes, sir.
We can develop we call product catalog.
The product catalog.
Yes, for loan officer. They know that what kind of what the WSS is, and then with the exactly the price.
The price, so they
below.
go with it as they are
Yeah,
going to meet the client.
Yeah, they
right?
have the idea that.
So
yeah.
you need the product catalog. Paul?
We can also have community dinners.
Community diverse.
Where you go to the community to
and disseminate the information.
disseminate
Yeah.
information.
Okay, we can do the dissemination in the communities or do a sensitization about the product.
Yes.
Something.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other?
My main use is radio ads and SMS messaging.
Exactly, we can use the radios, the radio ads.
So in marketplaces, I have seen an example in Peru, announcements like public address systems.
In the marketplace.
Means, yeah.
Okay.
Big billboard.
Loudspeaker in the market, and you blow it out to the marketplace.
Road shows.
Blow it out to the people.
Voice messages,
Voice messages.
voice, IVRs, calling them and giving them
the message. You call the entire client.
recorded message
As
is
you call
broadcasted over the phone call.
Okay.
So what happens, there is a toll-free number. Now you give missed call to that number, automatically after some time, they will call you. Call you means automated call, and they will give you the information.
So it's
about
an
this.
automated message?
Yes, that's
within
not
the
called
phone.
an
An automated message, I think it's a voice message, yes?
Mobile
Which we already have.
We don't.
So we can, okay?
Social
Maybe
media,
the last one?
Facebook messages.
Facebook messages, yeah, the social media. Yeah.
Treatment of that information.
Okay.
Right.
Anything else we've left out?
I think one thing we should also take into consideration that every target group and the message that would be suitable
To the target
to the
group.
target group.
Yes, that's true,
Yeah.
and we'll come to that.
Okay.
So are we comfortable with the messages that we have? Is this all? Anything else that we've left behind?
Commercials, TV commercials.
TV commercials, yeah, as in the television.
Popular Facebook.
Facebook, social media is there.
What
Social
about the
media.
recorded things that they show in a bank branch? It's on a television screen, but it just kind of
It's
repeating.
playing, yeah, on the TV.
That's some type of banner.
That's
Standing
kind of
on the
a
banner.
Banner is a hanging one.
Standing
I said
banners.
TV commercials or symbols
Consider banner.
Or banners.
Yeah.
Videos.
Yeah, in Peru, we development videos on sharing WhatsApp.
Sharing on WhatsApp, yeah, WhatsApp groups.
Short
Yeah,
videos.
creating on WhatsApp groups. I think we have so much, and we can cut it at that. We can build on it maybe after this. And now, I would also think maybe to add on this, what happens to the walk-in clients? Can we also sell the product to someone who works in the banking hall? I would also think it's one way we can sell the product,
Yeah.
or we can disseminate the information to the institution. Now, we are now aware of the different instruments that we use to disseminate our messages to our target groups. But remember, not all this message works for the different target groups. So, for example, you cannot use the social media for the institutions. Taking an example of schools, it would not work. Schools maybe meaning the infants, not the secondary schools. So even some secondary schools, they don't allow use of phones and the like to have that to get access to social media. So the different messages apply to the different target groups.
Okay. Now, can somebody tell me what are the things that we already covered during the marketing session? Can somebody tell me?
Channels. of
Extracting the information from external resources.
External resources, okay.
Channels of communication.
Channels of communications.
Key messages.
Key messages. Now that we already know all the information that we have, now how can we best utilize the information that we already have to our institutions to make a good marketing?
We have to put it in writing.
I'm sorry?
We have to put it in writing.
In writing. Like what?
Making a plan.
Making a plan. Okay.
A plan of communication.
A plan of communication.
Action plan.
Action plan. Okay. Now I'm going to show you some examples of marketing plans, and it's not properly there. So if you cannot see it, you might want to come forward if you want to see it clearer. So here is an example of a marketing plan. We already covered the marketing objective that we already talked in the first session. And then the target group that we have, we already discussed it. We have household, we have institutions, we have and then product surprises and advantages, and then the key messages that we already properly made, and then the distribution space of the instruments and the timing. Now, after we already have this marketing plan, what are we going to do with it? Implement it? Yes, of course.
But after developing this one, we can also go for it testing. I mean, whether it's appropriate or not.
Is it testing, like the piloting?
Right. I mean,
But
we can say.
You have to communicate it to your staff.
true. Any other thought?
Budgets.
Budget. Right. So let's conclude that. After we have this example of a marketing plan, then we first do communicating it to our team so that we can make sure that everyone in our team knows what our planning are, and then sure we can do the implementations, and then do the pilot testing, looking at whether it is working or not. And then after that, what are the most important thing that we should do as well? Do you think? We need to keep the clients or the potential clients updated, right? So what should we do? Do you think we need to do some kind of monitoring and evaluation? Would it be important to evaluate our marketing plan over the time?
Definitely, yes, of course.
After testing, yes. Why?
Because we can find out it is the thing is say it's for the audience, so that our target group or is it fit to the loan officer? Yes, something like that. We can define our message, and then yeah, we can redesign our message.
Okay, great. Thank you, Santi. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, so basically we developed this in it's in theory. We made it in a boardroom or in a classroom, and we have to test it and then see what we thought is in line with the reality.
Yeah.
And make adjustments.
Right. Any other thoughts, or maybe you want to add to that?
We're gonna all have some time to develop our own marketing plans and then share those out in the next 2 weeks. So now we're set up for that. Just in thinking of your marketing plans, I was wondering if anyone could tell me what this word is. What is stakeholder? What would a stakeholder be?
Somebody that has interest in something.
Okay, so in terms of where we're working when it comes to water and sanitation loans and promoting the uptake of water and sanitation, what might be a stakeholder? Okay, suppliers.
Utilities.
Utilities. Okay, great. So how, in terms of our marketing plan, how might it be helpful? Why would we want to consider suppliers or utilities when we're thinking about marketing and promoting our loans?
Because they are partners.
Right, exactly. That could be a venue, that could be a thought partner. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you very much for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. We have a feedback form I'd love for you to fill out so we can hear back from you. Thank you.
Okay, who has the card on process? Process, who had process? Okay, let's hear it then. What worked well?
So first the process, it also so they have used different methods sometimes to.
They use different methods, okay, which actually relates more to content than process. But what worked well in terms of all the different methods, Paul?
The sequencing of the thing, one after one. So the sequencing was
Okay, so there was good sequencing and flow, yeah? Okay, very good. What else worked well in terms of the process?
Dynamic.
Dynamic. It was dynamic. Something was happening, yeah? Very good. What else? What else worked well in terms of process? Yes,
I
Jessica?
really liked it when Mary was speaking and Laura was writing. That freed Mary from being tied to the board and she could interact.
So there was a good coordination amongst the group. What else? What else
There was
worked well?
great learning and adaptation throughout the day.
Okay.
So they had more experience based on their comments from previous sessions.
Yes.
And so they were able to do it much better.
Okay, so they really incorporated a lot of the previous feedback that had been circulated, okay? Very good. Any improvements in terms of process? Any improvements?
No gender balance.
No gender balance. In terms
That's
of
a plus.
process.
That's a plus. It's done pretty well.
Okay, what else in terms of process that could have been improved?
The
Anything?
flow, they were very systematic.
Okay, they were systematic.
Yeah, the sequence.
Systematic, that's still a plus point. I'm asking for improvement in terms of process. Who had the process? Jessica? It's okay.
But on the marketing plan example, I thought that went too fast. I thought there was really good content there, that would have been good too. Because those were examples of what we had just done, and it would have been helpful to go through those.
Okay, so sometimes it was simply too fast, yeah?
But is that related to their capacity or to the length of time that they had?
Yeah, it's process, I think.
Yeah, it's process insofar that, for example, when they did the revision of the exercises, they knew they had limited time, but they still revised all three groups every time. Only when they went to the instruments did they focus on the last group, and then I already called them off. So they could have actually saved some time during the process to make a little bit more time for the marketing plan, okay? What else in terms of
And I
process?
think the facilitator also have to prompt them to, you need to prompt them to.
I prompted them, yeah, so time management. There was okay time management until the end, and then it kind of got interesting with the group, yeah? And then the time management was forgotten, as is the case. Okay, content. Content, yes.
Yeah, content.
What worked well, Indra?
There the trainer understand the contents and already prepared from session 1, 2, and 3. So they have much more time, and they deliver the clear explanation from each content. The negative one.
Yeah, does anybody, wait 1 second, anybody else on positive first? Yes.
Contents.
Yeah, content just.
So the positive side, I thought they generated the content from the participants. They elicited the thoughts from the participants very effectively. They were very, yeah. So I think they facilitated very well.
They built on what. Okay, I think that was said.
Yeah. Then, in addition to that, I think they did their homework well.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Chaya?
They used the chart, flip chart, which was used in the previous session, and they presented in line with that. So they were not off track, and participants were not wondering what we were doing.
Okay, very good. Now, Indra, points for improvement? Content?
There's no balance delivering the material, the content from each trainer.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, more dominant with one person.
Okay, so there was no balance between the different, so some did very short and others did, okay, that's still a little bit process, so we can add that here. So, time and participation of trainers.
I think that has also to do with looking at the strength of 4 trainers. The facilitators realized that it will be good to balance the presentation. That takes into consideration the strength of each of the facilitators. So some people definitely will have to take longer time, and others will have to take a shorter time. But
Yeah, that's why I put a little question mark behind it.
Okay.
Okay. What else in terms of content that could be improved? Jessica?
I think it was good that we walked through this exercise, but I know that in the materials there's a lot of meat about how to do this in the best way, and I would have liked for the trainers to provide that guidance, because there's a lot of difference in how things came out, and it would have been good for us to give them expert advice on this is how you should do it to get the best message.
Okay, so more advice on exercises, yeah? Good, anything else on content?
So the balance was somewhere missing, the content versus time allocation. Like when we are developing this message, it usually takes more time than the other things. So we literally didn't get time for this.
Yeah, I agree with that. But as I said, time management was very good and there was every intention for it. But the longer we went along, the more it just fizzled apart. Yeah? The more the group got into the learning, yeah, the more that fizzled apart. Rita? Engaging, thank you. What else?
Eye contact.
Eye contact. What else?
Supporting.
Supportive. What else?
Nice voice.
Nice voice.
Great management.
Sorry?
Secure.
She knew the material.
Okay. Yeah, I think they all did.
She's great at managing people.
Okay, manage group. Points for improvement? Points for improvement for Rita?
I think at some point she was answering
The flip chart, right?
Yeah, she would have given us the opportunity to answer ourselves.
I don't understand.
She was reading the flip chart for the group rather than ourselves.
Okay, so more questions?
That's for the sake of time management.
At times? What else?
And at times also, the back was towards the participants.
Okay. What else?
This is a small thing, but when she gave the example of the messaging for the audiences, she said you wouldn't use social media for the institutions, but in fact people wrote social media for the institutions, so maybe changing that example.
Okay, so use of examples, very good. Excellent. Who came afterwards? Vera. Vera, good points for Vera. Clear, yes, what else?
Cool.
Cool, yes, Vera was cool. She was cool, yes, what else?
Clear voice.
Clear voice, okay.
She has a good presence actually.
Yeah, good presence, very good. What else?
She felt like she was approachable, you could ask questions.
Right. Smiling all over the place.
Approachable and smiling. Okay, let's not go there again. Right. Points for improvement. Vera, points for improvement? Yeah.
A little bit more confident, I would say.
Okay. More confident. What else?
Slow down in some parts, emphasize the key points.
Slow down and emphasize. I agree with that. Emphasize key points. What else? That's it? Is that everybody? Oh yes, Clara. Clara.
We didn't hear.
Not Clara, it's Carla, exactly. Yes, Carla.
No presence.
Carla with a C.
K.
Okay. Carla. Okay, let's hear it for Carla. Positives for Carla? Yeah, supporting. Great support to the groups. I saw that. Supporting to groups. What else? What else about Carla?
She provided supports to to the explanation of the flipchart.
Okay. So there was a lot of support not only to the groups but also to the other trainers. Points for improvement?
More participation because we didn't see her a lot.
Yeah. More
Animation.
facilitation, animation. Yes, okay. Any other point for improvement? No?
Probably she was struggling with the language, for that reason she couldn't contribute that much.
Yes, exactly. So if this would have been in a different language, then that would have been fine.
Yeah, if that applies to a number of the Spanish speakers.
Exactly.
And also the Cambodian, Indonesian. No, yeah. No.
Satya was babbling away happily ever after today, I remind you, okay? Did we forget anybody? Did we forget anybody? Okay, anything else for this group? I think let's all congratulate ourselves to begin with for being so excellent. Okay, now, very quickly, and I'm very aware of time. Yes, I am, as always. What we're going to do is, throughout the day today, we saw a lot of different methods, right? A method is a way of doing something. Now I see that there's almost everywhere still markers flying around the place, which is a good thing. So we have you two together, okay? You keep one marker. You keep one marker. And I would like each pair of twos to take a moment with one card and one marker and to write down one method that you saw throughout the training of trainers. Remember, all of these methods, and if you're listening to me, then I don't have to explain it 3 times. We saw a lot of different, that would be you two, you have a marker here. A lot of different methods, we would have you two, you have a marker there. Throughout the training of trainers, we saw a lot of different methods. We also used quite a lot of different methods, you too. So please now discuss and write down one method. The 3 of you can work together. Please discuss and write down one method that you identify throughout the training of trainers. Small group discussion, yes? Putting people into groups to have them work on something. Be it a case study, be it a question, and so on and so forth. Next. Yes, Rita?
First, we think use of flip charts. We'll take this method of use of flip charts more than projecting. Yeah, because if you...
Yeah, because you can put them around the room instead of just flipping them around the board.
Okay, very good. Flip chart is what? Just like PowerPoint. What is it?
Like a tool.
A tool. Okay, so the method becomes what with flip chart?
Permanent, because you have visual content.
Yeah, but the method that we add with the flip chart is usually what? Yes, brainstorming with the flip chart, okay? So that it actually becomes a method. Another method. Yeah, go on and explain it.
So that I think the walk and talk makes people more engaging. And it's good to make people actively participate.
Okay, walk and talk, we all remember? Yeah, get up, find somebody, clap hands, and so on. Very good. Yes, next person. Manuel.
Participating approach.
Well,
I never been before in a training like this. I like very much because I guess the trainer, in the way that you conduct it, you try to get opinions, extract information, so this is very, very interesting.
Okay, participatory approach sums up what?
All
Yes, Stanley?
all the method that we're using.
Okay.
For participatory approaches.
Yes, so all the methods that we use actually sum up into what then is the participatory approach, okay? Very good. Next method, we had Flavia?
Recapping. I liked it in the morning when we were all given cards with at least one key issue discussed yesterday. And then we've also seen a lot of recaps at the end of presentations for those sessions, whereby people briefly took us through what we have done.
Mm-hmm. So can we only use one method for recapping? Can we only use one method for, no, there's several methods. So the method from this morning was the 1-minute presentation, yeah? Where each person had to get up and present for 1 minute. There's also the 3-minute presentation, okay? Somebody else, another method? Yes, Dini?
Energizers.
Mm-hmm. So case studies, okay. Excellent.
Even though we didn't use it much here, the working in pairs would also be called buzzing, buzz groups.
Yes, exactly. And then also, of course, interviews with the working in pairs, yeah? And also do interviews here and so on and so forth. Okay, excellent. Very good. Role play, yes.
That's
okay.
what I wanted to tell.
Role play. Thank
Whole
you.
day we are doing it.
Yes, role play. Okay, very good. You see, now that we're thinking about methods, they keep on coming. Huh? And as you will see in the training manual, there's quite a lot of different methods. Some more simple, some more complex that will be at your avail. Okay. So here we just have a short collection, a small collection, excuse me. And what does that show us as trainers? What does that mean for us?
Have several tools at our disposition.
Okay, we have different tools at our disposition. That would mean PowerPoint, that would mean flip charts, that would mean cards, and so on and so forth. But we also have what? And we take the pictures afterwards because I don't want to speak at 10 cameras. I like to speak to human beings, okay? So, what else does this show us?
We can choose this kind of method to apply in which kind of activities.
Exactly, very good. Depending on who our audience is, Satya, yeah, we can choose these different methods depending on what it is that we actually want them to learn and we want them to understand, okay? Very good. Now, very quickly, I'm still cognizant of time. Sorry, I'm just disappearing behind the I think I've given up with this room. By now, it is so full with all the work that we have done that I think I'm just going to do this, okay? Do we remember this? Do we remember this? Yes? The training process. Okay, what I would like to do very quickly and for the next really only 10 minutes is we'll make 3 groups, okay? Each group will go, will get one wall and I will tell you where the wall is because I'm cognizant of the fact that the walls are really full, okay? One group will focus on before training, one group will focus on during training, and one group will focus on after training. Okay, you'll get cards, and I would like you to write down specific activities because these are the big lines. Yeah, these are the big lines of what happens through every single one of these 3 main phases. I would like you to take cards and write down more concrete activities of what actually happens before the training, during the training, and after the training. Now really think from a perspective of the trainer, okay? And write on your cards, 1 activity per card, what actually happens at these different stages.
Great.
What are we on the tools for the team?
Yes.
Develop tools for the team.
Perfect.
So we are now at the end of the training process. At the end.
5 minutes, everybody, bring up those cards. Let's go, let's go.
In half an hour,
So there is the
specific cases.
Can you see this one?
Product.
Develop the agenda. Define properly the agenda.
Then we can.
That's a specific one.
Yeah, basically, review and revise. Review and revise training materials.
We learn about our audience, we find out who we're speaking to. We figure out all of the information that we need to share with the audience members, where they're supposed to go, if they have to have currency, we find out information from them, what their requirements are.
Excellent. Somebody else from the group?
You have to select the methodologies that we're going to use. If you know your audience, it's easy to do.
Yeah. Then we have to develop the agenda, and then we also have to delegate the roles to the co-trainer if we have any. And then, then we also have to make sure of the things around or in the training room, the facilities or tea breaks, we have to give them the clear instruction on all these things. And then we also have to develop the pre-evaluation tool.
Okay, very good. Anything missing? Do we agree on all of this, or do we think that anything is missing here right now? Teddy?
They do agree. I think communicating the training dates, etc.
All that, yeah.
So that is there.
Okay.
Background information to inform participants on everything.
Okay.
Logistics and currency and everything.
Okay, very good. Anything else?
Do you have any recommendations on how to get rid of the nervousness? If you're nervous before a training?
How do we get rid of being nervous before a training? And is it necessary to get rid of being nervous before a training?
No. I think, mock trainings. Mock trainings, having mock trainings.
Yeah, mock training. So a training of trainer is certainly one answer to this. Okay. What else can help?
Practice with your husband and your wife and your children.
Very good. Yes,
And
Paul?
also, if you will be very confident if you understand what exactly you want to transpire in the training. The
Very
knowledge.
true, very true. A little bit of nervousness has never hurt the process, okay? It keeps you grounded, actually. But if not, making sure that you breathe properly and that you also drink water is very important. And if nothing else helps, then you simply do this.
Really?
This is a theater exercise, okay? Actors do this before they go on stage. What happens? What's happening as you're doing?
Tongue is becoming flexible.
You're focusing on your mouth rather than on your brain and you being nervous? And what's happening in your mouth? Saliva. When we get nervous, the first thing that happens is our mouth goes dry. We can't speak anymore. We start stumbling over our own words and we get even more nervous, okay? So, in order to stop being nervous, we do lips and mouth and tongue. This is called lips and mouth and tongue. And maybe if you paid close attention to me, I was doing this in the morning before I started. Also to be able to speak properly and articulate. Of course, you can do this in a very exaggerated manner. Excuse me, could you please take that phone call outside? Yes, in a very exaggerated manner, if you wanted to go fast. But you can also do it very decently without anybody actually realizing it. Okay? But this is a very good tool if you are nervous. It really does help. Okay, anything else for the group?
So during the training, the first part, we start with the introduction, setting the rooms, and also sharing the agenda.
Somebody else from the group? Let's go.
So the second one, so what we do after this is the second part when the things have started of this setting of this rules, agenda, discussion about the agenda. Then we started discussing the topic, the agenda according to the agenda, and we keep on time. That what we keep on like understanding that whether we can take a bit of time or not. So time management is there. Then there is this managing the participants. So when sometimes we get very good participants, sometimes we get very, what do you call it, little bit challenged participants. So we need to manage that one. So it is not that only we are doing that one, forgetting the other things. So along with everything we are doing. The third thing that involved, when we see that okay, fine, that we need to involve participants in some of the things. Sometimes the trainers need to tell something, sometimes they need to get these participants involved in the discussion. So we do that one. And then, what's the time?
Then we manage time.
Manage time. Then there's also this is very important, this impromptu adaptation. So something is going on and we are seeing that, okay, fine, this participants, they're getting little bit unruly, or they're looking at this side, that side. Probably it would be better to bring them into some activity. Then once again, we will bring back that attention towards the training. So impromptu adaptation is very important. Then not only this one, talking about the discussing about the topics, going through the agenda, it is also extremely important that these participants, they get their food in time, they get their tea in time. So you have to continuously talk to your logistic department that, okay, fine, in half an hour, please do organize the food. In half an hour, 15 minutes, please do give us the tea. So you have to do that one as a trainer as well.
Thank you, Paul. Somebody else from the group?
We believe that after the training, you need to share the materials that will include the report that you have generated and the handouts immediately after the training, which has the training materials that you've been handling. Then we also think it's better to offer technical assistance support after the training. That will come after getting the feedback from the participants in case they need technical assistance.
So that's the end. That's the third one.
Okay. Anything that's missing? Anything that anybody would like to add? Anything that's missing? Anything that anybody would like to add?
Did you summarize the? Does it summary?
Yes, the report is the review the training content and you
Oh,
provide the report.
how can training report be the same as summary of the? I think they are two different things. Yes, summary of the presentation.
Assessment in technical assistance support?
You're
Are
not
you
sure.
going to take the impact assessment? You also do the impact assessment. Yes, right?
Good point. Follow up with technical assistance. Let's add.
No,
it's
they
there.
already
Is
have
there-
follow-up
is
with
there-
technical
is there-
assistance, but I was talking about impact assessment.
What do you mean?
Training impact assessment.
Yeah.
Is that the same as?
Because immediately that cannot be,
Immediately.
you just can't judge participants
After a while.
immediately. So maybe after a month
Yeah.
or two,
3 months,
maybe
3
they
months,
after
6 months.
seeing their work,
Right.
if they are benefited or
No,
not.
it's not a follow up.
Wouldn't that be a feedback?
It's part of to the follow up.
What about if we took it this side?
No.
Seek
No, no, no.
feedback.
Feedback that is immediate. Feedback
It's okay.
is taken immediately.
That's true, actually, I agree.
No, feedback, it doesn't mean necessarily immediate. I can give you weeks or months to give me feedback. after.
No.
Yes, the same thing.
No.
Same thing you're telling about. I mean, it's spaced in different time. One is just after training, one maybe after like
But a follow up
6
also
months.
addresses your concern.
No, no.
Because after a month,
Yes, thank you,
2
Anthony,
months,
right.
it's a follow up and
We
figure
are
out
not
the
asking for the
impact.
feedback from them.
Yeah.
Maybe
Asking for the
our
impact.
staff or maybe their staff
Yeah.
can actually judge on the basis of their work, the quality of their work, if our
Yeah.
training has actually benefited them. or not.
Impact evaluation.
I can find you links to the TA support.
that's
Part of the
right.
TA
That's
support,
what
we
I
need
was
some
asking
follow-up.
Joseph, that is the part of their TA support or.
So we will add it. But
Yeah,
part of
just
our
add
tea.
it. Yeah, just add it.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's just
there.
add it for now.
Is there?
Anything?
It's already there.
Not there.
Anything else for the group? Is there anything else that anybody would like to add for the group? Ladies and gentlemen, is there anything else that anybody would like to add? Okay, let's say thank you to the group.
Great. So encouraging good behavior.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So if we acknowledge and encourage our participants for behaving good, for being a good listener or being a good participant, then we should acknowledge it.
Okay, excellent. We all agree with this? Encouraging good behavior in our participants is important. Okay, excellent. Next, Manuel.
Education.
That what happens with me, because dealing with a difficult participant.
You
remember the case of Osvaldo. First of all, I thought that there was a joke, some kind of joke. But when I realized that something happened, I approached him and talked outside of the classroom.
And that seemed to work, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
But he was mean to me.
Okay, we'll talk about this after the training. Yeah? All right, next person. Let's go very quickly. Who's next? Come on, just let's go.
speak clearly. So I think, the participants are very high level from the so we need to have very good homework done, and we need to be very clear in our communication. I think that's one of the good thing we have learned from this.
So people often say, oh, but I speak with a certain accent. Oh, but I speak with a certain dialect. Oh, but this or that language is not my first language. Should I change my accent? Should I speak differently? Should I speak louder? Should I speak quieter? What is really important when we speak? There's one thing that is really important if we want to be audible to our audience. What is that? Pronunciation, very good. Articulation. The way in which you pronounce your words will make all the difference. If you pronounce your words properly, then you will ensure that people can actually follow what you're saying. You will be paced and you will also be audible. So when you get into the training room, try to pronounce and articulate properly. I don't speak like this outside of the training room, okay? But I speak like this inside the training room so that I'm clearly audible to everybody. Next card, Teddy.
Yeah, using examples. I think giving examples will make things quite easy, to the point, so that people can understand.
And we studied give relevant examples. Yesterday we made that observation.
Thank you.
Okay, next card.
Materials. I see we need a lot of paper. You need to review before to start the training. You have materials to meet.
Excellent, Janina. Yes, very important. Check your materials before you do your training, okay? Next card, Anthony.
Yes, correcting negative behavior is not a bad thing. It only helps us become better trainers in the future.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Next card. Yes.
So this is repetition. Repetition shall be avoided. Over same thing. It doesn't actually it's not very attractive to this participants. But yes, clarification is necessary. If somebody is asking you, fast repetition can happen when somebody couldn't hear it properly. And the second, the clarification can happen. That, okay, fine, I couldn't understand this one. So it is not repetition, but in general, repetition should be avoided.
Okay.
So actually in this flip chart you have mentioned repetition, the part 2, middle of the act. So do you mean actually revision and repetition is the same thing? Revision during the day, you have mentioned it is essential.
Okay, so over there we revise, okay? The activity is revise, and by revising we repeat,
Okay.
okay?
So,
But as a trainer, there is the importance of repeating. You have noticed, especially with the first groups, the instructions were not clear because they gave the instructions once, they gave them quickly, and then everybody was confused. Whereas with the last groups, you saw that they took their time and they also repeated the instructions that they were giving. Of course, they were not saying it in exactly the same way, but they repeated what they were saying so that everybody was clear what was going on. Okay? Next card, quickly. Satya.
Print out, it means that we need to print out the document that we expect to handle to the participant. For example, we print out the case study and some of
Documents.
something that we expect that we will use during the training time.
Yes, very good. Indra.
breaks. The trainer need to know the moment when we have take a break, or we send someone to have a break. If there's a disruption to another.
Okay, breaks are important.
Difficult situations cannot be avoided.
Right. And as a trainer, I have to remain what at all times?
Oh.
And?
On your
Yes,
feet.
and flexible. Very good. Next card, very quickly. Dini.
So preparation. So as a trainer, we should have a good preparation before the training. In terms of materials, we should read the materials first, and then the logistic, and then the event, so the training will be running well.
Very good. Next, Rita.
Yeah, use of different methods. There is need to use different methods and make the training more interesting for the participants. Like others would prefer brainstorming, others would prefer in groups, others would prefer use of presentation. So you should cut across to cater for all the group.
Great, Carla.
Yeah, asking question plus paraphrase. It's important because the team pay attention.
Okay, so asking questions and paraphrasing. What's paraphrasing?
Repeating it.
Did I understand correctly that you just said blah, blah, blah? And why do I summarize or paraphrase as a trainer?
Seeking clarification to show that the
Thank you very much. Test comprehension through asking questions and paraphrasing. Next one.
So after asking questions, you need to listen well and take note of what the participants are saying.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I think that's clear to all of us. Next card. Yes, Flavia.
The training room. From the setup of this training room, I learned that it is good to have it spacious, not with a lot of clutter, to allow for interaction and active participation.
Very good. You did notice that this room took a life of its own at one point, yeah?
Yes.
At one point, this room seemed to start being in charge of us, okay? And of course, this is what happens at one point. So room management is a constant, okay? Next person? Yes, Sally.
interruptions.
Yes.
Don't interrupt.
I have one more card.
Myself
Who is
and
me,
I.
myself, and I?
It's me.
The same person.
It's myself.
Me, myself, and I, the trainer, okay? This is all of everything that I do, only when I am in action, okay? We've seen what happens before, and we've also seen what happens after. So, what can this mean? Me, myself, and I. What can this mean?
So if the trainer is like that, me, myself, and I, he or she cannot communicate, cannot go at par with the participants, cannot, what do you call it, like bring up them, they cannot induce knowledge, because he or she is so full of her knowledge, her everything.
Excellent. I leave my ego outside of the door. Yeah, that's one thing. I also leave my emotions outside of the door. Whether I'm in a good mood or in a bad mood or whatever mood I may be in, I try to leave that outside. And last but not least, I also take care of myself. And how do I take care of myself?
Wear good shoes.
Yes, you wear good shoes. Very good. What else? You sleep, yes. You eat regularly. You drink regularly. You do some kind of sports, okay? Because standing on your feet for 8 hours a day is really not easy. Okay? So, in summary, that's the trainer in action.
Hey, child, hey, take me any of them. Just one. Make sure you don't cut our heads off.